I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thanks for joining me on a Monday night. My first special guest tonight has got a brand new album called Halfway from Nashville and a new single to go along with that. And he's written and co-written every single song on this album. He's a fantastic singer-songwriter, and it's a pleasure to welcome him to the show tonight. This is Sean Harrison. Sean, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, Scott. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited about this.
Well, hey, it's a pleasure to have you. I really enjoy your music, and I've been listening to your album. And I'll tell you what, your songwriting really reminds me of that kind of that Roger Miller and John Prine style, and maybe that's some influence in there for you somewhere.
Yeah, I like hearing that. I think Roger Miller's song "King of the Road" is one of the greatest country songs ever written, and it sure did influence me. And John Prine, what can you say? Those are the best. So thank you. I'll take it as a compliment.
Well, it's great music. Well, tell me about the title cut. That's your latest single, and you've got a video for this song too, right?
The video's coming up. The song is the title cut, "Halfway from Nashville." I was born in Nashville, Scott.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a geographical spot on the map. It's a spot on a lifeline. Halfway from Nashville means I'm about halfway through. And as the song says, where the hell am I now? And so it's not completely autobiographical, except that it is about a fellow born in Nashville, and he's wondering, what's going on with this life here. But I don't, in general, write autobiographical, but there's a little bit of Sean in all of it. There's things I've places I've been, or things I've read or seen, and things I overhear. That's where the song ideas come from.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, you've written every song on this album, right?
Yeah, I co-wrote one only because one of my favorite novelists, John Dufresne, happens to be a former student of my late father who taught creative writing. I was reading a John Dufresne novel and came across a line, and I thought, oh my God, that's just gorgeous, and I've got to have it for this song I'm working on. So I emailed John and I said, hey, can we co-write a song? Because I found this line in your book. I think it was his novel, Louisiana Power and Light. Fantastic stuff. And he said, okay. So we traded some emails. And so I co-wrote with one of my favorite authors, John Dufresne, because I didn't want to just steal the line from him. and I had to have that line. So the song is Ode to a Goner. And it's got some very poetic stuff in it, and that's John Dufresne.
Oh, that's great.
More than John Harrison.
That's really cool. Now, your dad was also a well-known novelist and screenwriter, right?
He was, and he died a few years ago, but he had a lot of influence on many young writers as a teacher, which is why I grew up in Fayetteville, University of Arkansas there, had a great creative writing program, still does. And Dad is probably best known for the only science fiction he ever wrote, which was called Rollerball. And that's a lot of youngsters don't know of that movie. It's been a while. But people who've been around a bit like me, they remember Rollerball, and the second version of it still runs on the movie channels from time to time. So, yes, I grew up in that literary household around a lot of other writers, watching them, listening to them, and it kind of rubbed off. I don't think any talent rubbed off, but I think the whole experience sort of opened up that door nice and wide for me to walk through it and try my hand at writing, and I kind of felt like, well, I'm supposed to do this, so let's give it a shot. And so, yeah.
So what kind of steered you in the musical direction?
Oh, gosh. Well, my mom is very musical, but I think, like a lot of people, I was in the tail end of the baby boomer generation, and the Beatles and Bob Dylan and the whole late 60s scene and into the 70s with great songwriters like Springsteen and Paul Simon, it just all touched my life and affected me. And I was born with a love of music, and then from the sort of the literary influences, I've sort of developed a love for lyrical style and narrative storytelling. And I wasn't originally a country guy. I was more of a rock and roll kid, and then went through a blues period later in life, especially when I was down in Texas. But I came back to country music because it just seems the perfect format for storytelling. And I like to tell a story.
Absolutely, and I think your songs do that very well, and that's what draws me to your music, is you can kind of picture the song and the story of the song as it plays. You know.
I appreciate it.
I think that's the mark of a great songwriter, no doubt. Tell me a little bit about your time over in Europe.
Well, that was when I was younger and traveling with family, and as a teenager, we would land in some city or another and unpack into a little hotel room, or sometimes two hotel rooms, and I would immediately grab my guitar, head for the sidewalks, and just go down and do some busking, because I saw other people do it. I thought, heck, I can do that. So I had an acoustic guitar with me and a harmonica on a holder, very Bob Dylan-ish and Neil Youngish, and they were some strong early influences. And I'd go down there and open up my guitar case and, make a few quid or make a few francs or Italian lira, whatever was the currency in the city, and I just enjoyed doing it. We'd lived in London for a while, and I was pretty independent as a 14, 15-year-old. I would go down into the tubes, the underground system, in the tunnels, and play down there for, half a day at a time. It was just something to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, the album is called Halfway from Nashville. SeanHarrisonSongs.com is the website, and we will have that information on our Facebook page as well. 12 songs, all written and co-written by Sean himself. And I encourage you to pick this up. It's great. One of the songs I wanted to talk to you about is kind of a standout song that I picked out that I like a lot. It's called The Last Water Tower.
Oh, yeah, you talk about a story. That one is kind of autobiographical, Scott. I did climb the water towers in my town, and I did put my focus on climbing the last one, which was on the Veterans Administration grounds, and was guarded by, security men in trucks. And so it makes a good story. The end of the story, how I eventually conquered that last, or how the character in the story anyway conquers that last water tower is not true. I made it up, but because I needed a strong ending. I didn't, I had to come up with something better. Well, I climbed it in the dead of night, and those guys didn't see me. I needed to do better than that to put a flourish on the end of a good story. But I enjoyed writing that. I enjoy singing it. And usually when I'm playing in a live situation, one of the first things people come up to me and they say, "How did you land a helicopter on that water tower?" And I tell them, "Oh, well, I made that up, but thank you. I'm glad it caught your attention." So,
well,
I've kind of blown the surprise ending.
I was going to say, you answered my question before I asked it.
Well, people can enjoy it anyway. That one does really well in my live shows because I kind of stop and tell a side story, and I get some laughs, and I really enjoy doing that. Some of the new songs I'm doing for my follow-up, my next album, have similar crazy stories, including one called Time Travel Trouble. And that's exactly what it is about. It's about the pitfalls and hazards of traveling in time. And so I look forward to springing that one on the world before too long.
I'm looking forward to that. Well, keep me posted, that's for sure. I'm always curious when I talk to songwriters. What is your songwriting process? Do songs just kind of come to you, or do you actually sit down and say, "I'm going to write about this particular subject"?
Oh, I steal stuff right and left. No, I'm kind of kidding, but writers really do pick up on things that they hear other people say or sing or stuff they read, and we'll make some notes. Or sometimes it's those 3 a.m. Bathroom breaks in the middle of the night, and just something pops into my head, and I will write it down and try to figure out what it means the next day. In the sober light of morning, see what did I write down and what the heck does it mean?
Yeah.
I think there are just ideas, both musical and storylines and lyrical lines, just interesting ways to say a normal thing that sort of float around in the air, and we have some kind of antenna that picks it up. And in a way, I feel like that means, well, it's not even my idea. I can write this song, but in a way, it's not even my song. I'm just the songwriter who was picked out to deliver this idea to the world. And so I feel like when I get a good song or story idea, I sort of have a responsibility to bring it to life, or somebody else is going to do it. And I usually think of storylines first, and then start working on some words, and then I'll figure out, well, what's the feel and the tempo, and just what's the music that would fit this story? Because I want the music to fit. I don't want them to be a mismatch. And another rule I have is don't ever write the same song twice, because I like to keep the variety coming, and you'll hear a lot of variety on this record.
Yeah.
There's no reason to write, for instance, another song about climbing water towers, or, it's just a good idea needs to be delivered and then move on to other good ideas.
That's a good way to put it.
I think people get caught up in writing love songs and writing the same song over and over. I mean, how many ways can you say I love you? My gosh. And so those are some traps I try to avoid.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. No doubt about it. Well, SeanHarrisonSongs.com is the website, and the album is called Halfway from Nashville, and we're going to play a couple of those songs from the album for you right now. And Sean, I know we're in strange times right now. We can't do a lot of the live venues that we're used to doing, but what's working for you to get your music out to your fans?
Well, I need to do more streaming, I guess, because that's most of what's going on, and I haven't really jumped on that. I've decided I love the live performing very much, and I need to connect face to face with people, especially as a storyteller. And so I'm kind of working on new material and biding my time, waiting for the venues to open again.
Yeah,
I might have to cave in and turn on the computer's video and do some streaming, but so far I've kind of resisted that, except in a few cases where I'm part of a group of songwriters in a showcase or something.
Sure, absolutely.
And so I'm hoping everybody stays safe and everybody gets well and a vaccine comes along and we get a vibrant live music scene going again, because that's what I want to do. Absolutely.
That's for sure. Well, Sean, thank you so very much for taking time to be on the show, and we're going to play a couple songs from your album, Halfway from Nashville, and it's SeanHarrisonSongs.com. Sean, thanks for being on My Kind of Country.
My pleasure, Scott. You take care.
At this point in my life, halfway from Nashville, I'm searching for clues to what it's all about. I'm divided and conquered, lack means and lack will, hoping old country songs help me figure it out. Merle says I just need to get through December. Dylan's answers, in the wind they do blow. Mr. Cash had so many songs I can't remember, but he's been everywhere, man, so he ought to know. Who will sing me the song that makes a connection 3 chords and a chorus with a sense of direction. If not Haggard or Dylan, then by God, Johnny Cash will. Tell me where the hell am I now, halfway from Nashville? All the songs that I write are about schmucks and losers. I guess autobiography is my chosen form. From grifters to wife thieves and other abusers, I've scripted myself to be lost and forlorn. So who will sing me the song that makes a connection? 3 chords and a chorus with a sense of direction. If not Haggard or Dylan, then by God, Johnny Cash will. Tell me where the hell am I now, halfway from Nashville? They say nobody's from here, they're from everywhere else. An old gypsy woman said my plan would succeed. Now it's just a plan that I need. So who will sing me the song that makes a connection? 3 chords and a chorus with a sense of direction. If not Haggard or Dylan, then by God, Johnny Cash will. Tell me where the hell am I now, halfway from Nashville? Where the hell am I now, halfway from Nashville? I've climbed every water tower in this county, except one. It's over on the VA grounds, and I plan to hit that last one when I figure how to get past them security men in trucks always making their rounds. I know that water towers must serve some public measure with 300 kilopascals of hydrostatic pressure, but they shouldn't have built them so tall and then made trespass a crime, 'cause water towers were made to climb. The first problem with those security men, they know my reputation. They know my intent, they know my face, and they know my transportation. I'll have to be quick or clever, or create a great diversion, if I'll even have half a chance of achieving my incursion. Now I know that water towers must serve some public measure with 300 kilopascals of hydrostatic pressure, but they shouldn't have built them so tall and then made trespass a crime, 'cause water towers were made to climb. And now I'll tell you about my favorite time of those high climbing exploits. I took Becky Lou Hazel Bloffin up there on a big ellipsoid. Well, we got high and we made love and laid back and watched the stars, and we turned with a world that was only ours. Oh, what a memory, Becky Lou. But back to matters at hand. I set the date, reviewed my plan, and worked out every detail. I even constructed a model of the VA grounds on a small scale. And as that date approached, there grew a great tension in the air. I drove past, and and there were security men in trucks everywhere, more than I had ever seen. Now, I really do need to tell you about another one of my proudest achievements. You see, I had an old salvage barge hidden on a cove on Beaver Lake up in the north part of the county. And I also had a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower engine-powered gyrocopter. And here's the thing, when I landed the gyrocopter on the salvage barge, I therefore, in that moment, claimed ownership of the first and only aircraft carrier in the history of Washington County, Arkansas. That's right. As I flew in over the VA grounds, security men got zany when I landed softly atop their water tower. Well, they went crazy, and I hung my banner across the front for the world to read. I did it, and I flew off, leaving security men embarrassed to admit it. And now I know that water towers must serve some public measure with 300 kilopascals of that hydrostatic pressure. But they shouldn't have built them so tall and then made trespass a crime, 'cause water towers were made to climb or get on top of, however you have to do it, I say.